y'all. So somebody just woke up from their nap and they're very hungry, but this is our video about our birth story, and we hope you guys like it. If you're new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and I guess let's just get started about telling you all the craziness that we experienced bringing this little man into the world. Oh, it's such a big yawn, Bubs. Alright, I gotta go feed him, but just keep watching. So, Wednesday, we actually checked in the hospital, which was the 20th of September, and that night we went and ate dinner at Texas Roadhouse. I had a really big dinner because I knew I wasn't going to be able to eat until after I had the baby. So, but I still had to be careful with what I ate just because of my numbers. I wanted to make sure that they were okay when I went into the hospital and that they stayed okay throughout the whole labor process. So I had a steak and shrimp and salad and some mashed potatoes at Texas Roadhouse with water. And then I had to call the hospital to make sure they had a room available. And so I called them at 7 and they said to come in at 8 and that they would be ready for us. So we checked into the hospital and they immediately made me change into a gown and hooked me up to monitors, which I wasn't expecting that. I honestly was thinking I'd be able to wear my nightgown and it would be pretty chill, they would just put the medicine and get that going, and then I wouldn't actually start being monitored until the next day. I don't know why I thought that. And I didn't really think to ask or anything. I just had assumed. I'm not sure, but they hooked me up to they put the blood pressure cuff on me. They had the heart rate monitor for the baby and my contraction monitor. So both of those are 2 round discs, and they have a thing stretchy material that wraps around your belly and pulled tight, and those are both on your stomach. And for me, they had to pull them really tight because for the heart rate monitor, because anytime I would move, they would lose his heart rate, and they'd have to come back in and readjust me, and it was very uncomfortable. So that part was kind of annoying, and I did end up getting decent sleep. They came in every 3 hours to check my cervix, and then every 4 hours to check my blood sugars. So that seems kind of like a lot, but in between, I guess I was sleeping pretty good. They also kept having to come in because, like I said, anytime I would roll over or move, the heart rate monitor would move and they couldn't hear the baby's heartbeat. So, and I just couldn't get comfortable there for probably about 2 hours when we first kind of got situated and I was trying to go to sleep. So that part was annoying, but I finally, like I said, I finally got comfortable and got to sleep and it was fine. So they gave me medicine called Cytotec, and it starts to soften your cervix and get your cervix kind of going and your body thinking it needs to get ready for labor. So she did go ahead and warn me that this medicine does start your contractions or can start your contractions. Some women it starts pretty much immediately. Some women it kind of goes on a little bit longer. So for me, my contractions didn't start till 3:30 in the morning. So 3:30 Thursday morning, which that was when they gave me the second dose of the Cytotec medicine. And that's when they were very noticeable. They weren't anything crazy, and they kept asking me, let me know if you want pain medicine, we can give you some, if you needed it, anything like that. But I was fine. It was those felt more just like period cramps, less, intense or severe. I was able to just kind of get through them and they were fine. I had to end up doing 3 rounds of the Cytotec before they finally decided to break my water and start the Pitocin. They broke my water at 12:49 Thursday, so a little bit after lunchtime. By that time, our family had started to arrive and come in, so I was able to visit with them for a little bit before they broke my water, and then once they broke my water, the contractions got so insane very fast, I feel like. I remember talking to my mother-in-law at one point. We were mid-conversation, and I just was I cannot talk anymore. I can't do it. I cannot do it. So once it got to that point where I couldn't talk and I couldn't really even function, I couldn't think and focus on anything but the contractions, I did go ahead and ask for the IV pain medicine first. I wanted to try that before I got my epidural. And they kept asking me, do you want your epidural? Do you want your epidural? And I just kept saying no, like, hold on, let's wait. So I got the IV medicine first, and it knocked me out. Like, I fell asleep and slept probably, I think, an hour, and I was, like, totally, like, zonked out. So that was really nice. It was very helpful, but the contractions is what woke me up next, and they just kept getting more and more and more intense. I think they checked me at that point, and I was like 5 centimeters dilated. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. And I was like, okay. So they kept asking me, do you want to get the epidural again? And I was like, no. I was like, let's do one more round of the IV medicine, see what that does, and then I'll get my epidural after that. And so she gave me that, and then she said, we're going to up the Pitocin amount, and it's going to make your contractions even stronger. And I was like, okay. So at this point, the second round of IV medicine wasn't doing jack diddly squat. I felt everything. It didn't make me sleepy. It didn't make me loopy. It literally, I was like, did you give me anything? I mean, I guess it kind of took the edge off a little bit, but nothing like when I got the first round. And she said that that's very common. And at this point, it's not really going to do a whole lot, like, compared to the first round. So at that point, I went ahead and said, okay, let's do my epidural. I'm dying. So I ended up getting my epidural at 4:15, I think is what we had down. We took notes on my phone so I can remember everything. I got my epidural at 4:10. So I broke my water at 12:49, and I got my epidural at 4:10. At that point, when I got my epidural, the contractions were so intense. I mean, they were back to back to back to back. All the nurses were like, how are you not already getting your epidural? They were watching the contractions on the screen, and I mean, they were like, like, they were crazy, and they hurt really bad. I remember laying on my side, holding onto the bed rail, just like, trying to like push through them, but they were just so consistent that I wasn't getting any kind of like break in between, like before, when they were a little bit more manageable, because you can kind of like push through the one and then you kind of rest for a second and then you get another one. They were so consistent that it was so painful. So my husband was there, and they put me on the edge of the bed. I had to lean over, kind of like arch your back. You're supposed to relax your shoulders, drop your shoulders, and lean forward, and then they give you your epidural. They put the needle in your spine. And the first time first time, we have multiple times where he put the needle in me. The first time he put it in, I told him that I felt tingling down the left side of my body and mainly my leg. And from my recollection, he made it sound like that was okay, that was normal, he's just kind of like close to a nerve, like it wasn't really a big deal. And so I remember saying, okay, I'm sorry. And he was like, do not apologize. You're in labor right now. You are doing fine. Do not apologize to me for anything. So I thought that was kind of funny. He was like, you're in labor right now. You should not be apologizing about anything. And then he removed it, and we had to do it again. And I'm not sure why. I can't remember. I'm sure my husband maybe could remember a little bit better, but I don't remember. So he went to go do it again, and mind you, during each of these, I'm having very strong contractions, and it's extremely hard to relax and keep your body relaxed. So you're just trying to like, push through them, but not tense up too much, and you not bring your shoulders up or sit up or anything like that, not move, basically, which is extremely hard to do. So the second time he I don't know what they call it, pricked me, put the needle in, whatever. Um, it was the most excruciating pain I think I've ever felt in my life. I can't even describe it. My aunt was like, well, what did it? And I'm like, I can't describe it. It was so painful. I had a hold of my husband's shirt like this, and I am so surprised I did not rip his shirt off. Um, because it was so painful. And I was cussing. I mean, like, MFer, F words were flying out of my mouth. Um, it was so painful. Um, I don't know why. And he didn't say anything, and I was so exhausted. So he pulled it out, and the nurse was like, honey, you need to make sure you relax your shoulders. Relax your shoulders. You're getting tense. You were too tense. You were too tense, I guess. So I guess when I was having a contraction, I brought my shoulders up, and I don't know if he maybe missed something. I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, so she was just like, you need to relax your shoulders, relax. At this point, I thought, okay, I'm giving him one more try. If he does not get this, we might be having this baby without an epidural, which is saying something because the contractions are no joke. So, yeah. So he pricked me again, and everything was fine. I made sure to keep my shoulders really, really relaxed and, down, and just try not to move at all or anything like that. And it really made a world of difference. So if you are getting epidural, I would definitely suggest just trying your hardest to focus on keeping your shoulders and body relaxed and your back arched, and really using your spouse or your mom or your dad or whoever's in the room with you as support, kind of leaning on a little bit. So, because it definitely helped. Again, I didn't feel a thing when he pricked me the third time, and the epidural kicked in, and it was freaking heaven on earth. I didn't feel a thing, and I was so grateful I didn't feel a thing, because it was, before that, it was really painful. So at that point, my family came back in the room. I was just laying there. I took a few more naps, really just relaxed and tried to kind of nap as much as I could. So my family was really, really good about, visiting for a little bit and then leaving and making sure I was like getting my rest and everything like that. Um, so then they checked me about 9 p.m. Thursday night, the 21st, and they checked me, and the nurse came in and was like, okay, let's check you and see, how far you've gone or how far you've gotten. And my husband was out in the waiting room talking with all my family, and my mom was actually in the room with me at that point, and I had just woken up from a nap. So the nurse checked me and was like, okay, it's time to have a baby. She's like, get your husband in here. It's go time. So they started getting the room ready and the bed ready and everything. And the nurse said, okay, we're going to do a practice push before the doctor gets here. And then when the doctor gets here, we'll like push. So I was like, okay. So they get me all situated, my feet up in the little thing, and my husband's on this side of me, holding my leg, and the nurse goes to feel again to check, and she's like, actually, no, we're not gonna be doing a practice push. She was like, he is ready. He's there. Like, we're almost there. We're like, there's no reason. So I was like, okay, so we waited a little bit. I don't know how long. It wasn't that bad. But while we were waiting, I was like, oh, can we put some music on? And she was like, yeah, of course. And so I have a playlist on my phone of all the music we played throughout our wedding. Well, not all of it, but all the big songs that we played through our wedding, which we played a lot of music. I love music. So I have a playlist on my phone with our wedding music, and I told my husband to put that on. I just thought that was kind of fitting for that time. Obviously all those songs mean something to us. That's why they were in our wedding, and then we got married to them, so they mean even more. And then this next step in our life together, was just that much more special. So, and at one point during a break, one of the songs that we very first danced to when we first started dating came on, and I looked at my husband in between pushing and was like, well, I guess we can't dance right now, babe, sorry. And, he kind of like laughed, and it's kind of a moment to take that was kind of funny between us two that I remember. So I would definitely suggest making a playlist or having something like that ready just in case you wanted it. Obviously, not every situation is like that. And I am very grateful that our situation was pretty chill, pretty laid back. Everything was easy going. So that was really nice. But I would suggest making a playlist to have just in case you get the chance to just have music playing in the background because it was pretty nice. Obviously, you don't hear everything because you're not focusing on the music the whole time, but during when you're taking a break and laying back, it was nice to just have that music in the background. So, like I said, my husband was on this side, and I had another nurse here, and we did. I wasn't able to go to a birthing class because of Hurricane Harvey, so I had no idea what to expect as far as breathing techniques and stuff like that go. I had literally no clue. So I just knew what the movies, and the movies is like, really rapid, very crazy, and it was nothing like that. So the nurse basically told me we're going to do 3 counts of 10. So you take a really deep breath in, and then you crunch up into a crunch, and you breathe for 10 counts. And then you do it again 3 times in a row, like back to back to back. And then you get to take a break. And then at one point, I guess the baby was like basically making his appearance and then kind of like coming back like, nope, just kidding. So one of the other nurses that was standing next to my doctor, went and got a sheet, and we basically played like tug of war. So when we would, breathe and I was supposed to crunch up, she was kind of pulling on the, sheet, and I was coming up with her, and we did that for a while. It was very tiring. I actually only pushed for 45 minutes, so it was not that long at all and not that bad. But it's definitely something you have to like power through for sure. Obviously your doctors are there cheering you on, and the nurses are like, you're there, you're almost there, he's almost there, and then he wouldn't be there. So they kind of started getting a little worried about his heart rate kind of started dropping towards the end, and my doctor said that we needed to use the vacuum because he was like literally, apparently, I don't know, I couldn't see anything, but right there, he was like almost there. So at that point, all like 3 more nurses came in. One of the nurses kind of moved my husband up here closer to me, and she took kind of his spot where he was with my leg. And apparently it kind of freaked him out because he was like, okay, what the heck's going on? Why are there so many people coming in here? Is the baby okay? Obviously, you kind of start going through those scenarios. But everything ended up being fine. They used the vacuum, got him out, and he was fine. Cody cut the umbilical cord, and they, as soon as the baby, came out, I got so nauseous. I actually ended up getting sick. They had to give me the little bag. So Cody's standing over here next to me, worried about me. And then they took the baby over to, wipe him off and stuff like that. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, babe, you need to go take pictures of the baby. But I'm like sick. I couldn't say anything. So as soon as I kind of got a second and caught my breath, I was like, go take pictures. And so later Cody was laughing at me because he was like, I was already being bossed around, or I was being bossed around or something like that. And but he was saying like he was worried about me, and then he was like, do I stay with her? Do I go with the baby? He didn't know what to do. So he's like, I was kind of frozen. So I was like, go take pictures. So we didn't get any pictures of him cutting the umbilical cord or anything like that, but I mean, that's okay. We got plenty of pictures after that, that's for sure. And everything went really well. The baby was fine. Again, like I said, they ended up using the vacuum, but it was not a big deal. All his sugars were perfect. After that, all my sugars were perfect. He's latched pretty much right on. He took a second, kind of like wasn't sure what to do, and then he finally latched, and we started breastfeeding basically immediately, which is really what I wanted to do. Honestly, everything other than the epidural situation, everything through my delivery, labor and delivery, went so amazing. It was exactly the way I wanted it. Vaginal birth, he's breastfeeding really well. His sugars are good. My sugars were good. We were cleared the next day of any diabetes situation or anything like that. So in the hospital Friday, and then Saturday we were released. So we were only there for, I guess once the baby was delivered, we were only there for 2 nights, but 3 nights including Wednesday. So very short stay, thankfully. And when we came home, everything was good. I felt amazing. I feel amazing. Haven't had any crazy symptoms or anything like that other than just some night sweats and hot flashes, but those are pretty common from my understanding. So everything of that nature has been smooth also. So okay, so I am nursing him, so you might hear some weird little squeaks. He likes to squeak, make these really weird squeaky noises when he's eating, like that. But I wanted to wrap this up real quick because we're about to go take some newborn photos, and I probably won't have time to finish before the sun goes down. So I think as far as my birth story, or our birth story, I guess, that is it. Again, I don't have any like horror stories or anything crazy, so I'm sorry if you clicked on it hoping it was something wild, but I hope this gave you guys who are about to have a baby some peace of mind, especially for those of you who are going to be induced, because like I've said in my previous videos, I had a lot of anxiety about being induced and was really worried about how things were going to go, and I literally just could not be more pleased and happy with how everything turned out. So just to continue to, try to stay as calm as you can and trust your doctors and your nurses, and everything will be just fine. And the health of the baby is really the number one and the most important, no matter how your birth goes or how the process goes. The health of you and the baby is the only thing that matters in the end. So, yeah. I do plan to do a breastfeeding video, kind of talking about things that have helped me, kind of like essentials that have helped me so far, because the first 2 weeks were pretty crazy. Talking kind of a little bit about our journey thus far. I know it'll change. And then I definitely want to do a newborn essentials video. So if you are interested in seeing those, please comment down below. Let me know. If you have any other questions or ideas or anything like that, please feel free to comment, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel, and we will see you guys in our next video. Bye! Talk to you guys about postpartum depression. I so far am not feeling